Did you know that African empires once controlled half the world's gold supply? Forget what you think you know about kings and queens. Today, we're diving into the epic story of West Africa's Sahelian empires, a tale of riches, power, and ultimately, heartbreaking decline. This isn't just any history lesson, it's a saga of gold, salt, and some seriously impressive rulers. We're talking about Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, three empires that dominated West Africa for centuries. Think of them as a relay race, one passing the baton of power to the next. First up, the Ghana Empire, also known as Wagadu. From around 300 CE, these guys were the kings of the gold-salt trade. Imagine a place where gold was so plentiful, even the dogs wore golden collars. Their capital, Kumbisola, was a bustling metropolis, a hub for merchants and scholars. The kings, known as Ghana, were seriously powerful. Tonka Menin, for example, ruled during Ghana's golden age. One Arab writer described his army as 200,000 strong infantry and 40,000 cavalry. That's a lot of soldiers. But all good things must come to an end. A series of events, including Almoravid invasions and internal revolts, weakened the Ghana Empire, paving the way for a new power. Enter the Mali Empire, founded by the legendary Sundiata Keita. Sundiata wasn't just a king, he was a superhero. The Epic of Sundiata tells of his rise to power, culminating in the Battle of Karina in 1235 where he defeated the Soso king Sumanguru. Under Sundiata and his successors, the Mali Empire exploded in size and influence. The cities of Niani, Timbuktu, and Ga became centers of learning and trade. But the most famous Malian ruler of all time, Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa wasn't just rich, he was break-the-bank rich. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 is legendary. He traveled with an entourage of 60,000 people and so much gold that he crashed the economy of Cairo for over a decade. Seriously, the value of gold dropped by 25% for 12 whole years. It's hard to imagine that level of wealth. Mansa Musa wasn't just about showing off his riches. He invested in education and infrastructure, turning Timbuktu into a world-renowned center of Islamic learning. But just like Ghana before it, the Mali Empire eventually began to fade. Internal struggles and the rise of new powers weakened its grip on the region. Now, it's time for the final act, the Songhai Empire. Founded by Sonny Ali, the Songhai Empire rose to prominence through military might and strategic conquest. Sonny Ali was a warrior king who conquered Timbuktu and Jen, expanding Songhai's territory and influence. But it was Askia Muhammad who truly transformed the Songhai Empire. He standardized weights and measures, promoted Islamic scholarship, and built mosques in Gao, the capital. Askia Muhammad's Hajj pilgrimage was also impressive, though not quite on Mansa Musa's scale. The Songhai army was a force to be reckoned with, boasting 40,000 cavalry and 200,000 infantry. Their control of the Niger River allowed them to dominate trade and project power throughout the region. But the Songhai Empire met a dramatic end at the Battle of Tondeba in 1591. Moroccan forces, armed with gunpowder weapons, decisively defeated the Songhai army. This marked the end of Songhai dominance and the beginning of a new era in West African history. So, what can we learn from these empires? Well, their story doesn't start there. The Nubian kingdoms of Qama and Kush, located in present-day Sudan, were powerful states long before Ghana. Qama, with its impressive pyramids and advanced ironworking, challenged the traditional Egypt-centric narrative. The Kushite kings even conquered Egypt, ruling as pharaohs for nearly a century. And let's not forget the Aksumite Empire in Ethiopia, a pre-Islamic powerhouse that controlled trade across the Red Sea. King Ezona's conversion to Christianity in the 4th century made Aksum one of the earliest Christian states in the world. And these weren't just empires ruled by men. Queen Aminotu of Zozo, in present-day Nigeria, was a fierce warrior who built fortresses and led cavalry raids. And Zinga of Nongometamba, in Angola, fought against Portuguese colonization for decades, forging alliances and trading slaves to maintain her power. These empires weren't just about war and conquest, they were also economic powerhouses. Mali, for example, controlled over 50% of the world's gold supply between 1300 and 1500 CE. This wealth flowed across the Sahara, influencing economies as far away as Europe. Timbuktu, Jen, and Gao were not just trading centers, they were also centers of learning. Timbuktu's Sanko University housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, making it one of the most important libraries in the world. The legacy of these empires is still felt today. The borders of modern Mali, Niger, and Mauritania roughly align with the territories of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. The Epic of Sundiata is still performed by griots, preserving the history and culture of the Mandinka people. And Mansa Musa's image can be found on Malian currency, a reminder of his legendary wealth. But the story of these empires is not without its controversies. Eurocentric historians often dismissed African states as primitive, ignoring the rich history and culture of the region. The scale of slavery in these empires is often downplayed, while the role of figures like Nzinga in the slave trade complicates their image as anti-colonial heroes. And much of this history has been actively suppressed. Colonial curricula often ignored these empires, focusing instead on European history. And the looting of Timbuktu's manuscripts in 2013 highlights the ongoing threat to African cultural heritage. So, the next time you hear about Africa, remember the story of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. Remember their wealth, their power, and their lasting impact on the world. Why do you think these empires are often overlooked in mainstream history?